let me take just a second to introduce everybody. If we've done any of that, I apologize. I had to step away for just a minute. To my left is County Executive Jesse Wallace, Self Sheriff Davis, Chief Gillespie, Buddy Frazier, Mayor, City of Waverly, Odell Pointer, our EMA, Greg Collier, Public PIO. What we'll do is we'll just come together a little bit, and Chief's got some things that he wants to talk about and release. We'll follow it up with just a little bit of things that I might add into that, or what his backside is. Then we'll talk about, I think there was a couple of questions that some people may have had, and we'll go from there. That's all right. Chief, don't come up. Go ahead.
Actually, I thought you were going to go first.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, you guys.
All right. I'm Grant Gillespie. I'm the police and fire chief of the city of Waverly. It's Grant, G-R-A-N-T, Gillespie, G-I-L-L-E-S-P-I-E. Thank y'all for coming out. I just want to say, you know, we've experienced devastating loss of life over the last couple of days. We've lost more people in this event than we did in the train explosion in 1978. But we've seen the community come together. We've had a lot of assistance from other law enforcement, fire, rescue agencies that have come in and really helped us mitigate this incident. So very appreciative of our partners in the various agencies around us. And I think, I guess you guys want to say anything? Just get that. Okay. I guess as far as moving into the next few days, we do have a curfew in place in the city of Waverly at 8 p.m. We are having problems with a small amount of looting and trespassing. We will close the city down, the streets down around 8 o'clock tonight. There was some looting that occurred earlier today, and some suspects were apprehended in that. We may have a little bit of information later on that. It just occurred. So we want to keep that cut down. We would ask that people stay in, not come around just to watch. It's hampering our efforts to get people moved around town to respond to different areas. Today we've had search teams from all over the mid-state here helping us locate victims. We are currently at 21 confirmed deaths here in Humphreys County. 20 of those were in the city, one out in the rural area. Those searches will continue tonight until dark, and will pick back up in the morning. We had a list of about 45, give or take, names of missing people. We published that list today to social media, and we've trimmed that down to right around 20, with most of those just being people that had lost contact with each other, and we've been able to reunite them with family. And that's still ongoing. That was dropping even as I left to come over and talk to you. So we're hopeful that we're getting toward the end of that list. But we do have continuing search efforts that will go into tomorrow as we get into the creeks in a little more detail.
Tonight, what our plans are we're going to be leaving this meeting. We're going to go in. We try to have our nightly planning sessions for our next days. We're trying to get 48, 72 hours into this thing. One of the things that I may have talked to you guys about individually is we've had a sort of kind of a sensory overload, a little bit of assets and stuff that's coming in. We're asking some of our people, some of our assets, to be patient with us, to slow down. And us formulating our plans, we're evaluating constantly every hour, every couple of hours, of how we're going to operate and what we're going to do and assets we're going to use where and when. But as y'all seen from the damage, from Governor being here today, we've got some very, very, very bad damage in our city, in our county. And it's going to take us a while. We've got to rebuild some infrastructures. We've got those kind of plans that's being made, and we've got a good, solid effort working together, a good team effort. And like I say, right now with some of these assets that's coming in from the outside, we couldn't be where we're at right now if it wasn't for them. So thank you very much for y'all helping us with that, you the media helping us with that and doing those kind of things. I would like to ask you to all please, if you are out taking your pictures and stuff, if we have a recovery or some of our families or some of our victims, please to be mindful of them. I spoke with some of them today on Main Street. They was pretty upset about some things, and they felt like they was really being advertised and taken care of. So I ask you to please be mindful of our victims and of our people. Anybody have any questions? Anything that we can do to answer for y'all?
Just out in the county, I noticed a lady come up yesterday and said that nobody's really been out. There's people out in the county that have no electricity, no phone, no vehicle, nothing, stranded. Older people that live out in the county. Have you guys heard that or checked on any of that? They said there's people out there missing that y'all don't even know about.
That's one of the things that we're doing is we're starting to formulate those plans and doing that. We've had deputies out in zones and doing things. And unless we just start going door to door, we've got to, now that some of our power and stuff's coming back on, we've got to start getting that kind of information. Matter of fact, that's the kind of information that we want to send that to dispatch still, right? And if we've got a welfare check that we're doing, or there's somebody from out of town and we need a welfare check, please call us. Give us that address. We've got the manpower. We're going to do that. We're not going to stop going and checking on our people. We're not doing that. If somebody has a concern, get us that information, get us the address, and we're going to take care of it.
With the blue water order, can you just talk about the plans to address the water issue?
Plans about the water issue?
Water supply is improving. We've got water to the hospital now. Got water to one of our nursing homes. The boil order is still in effect, and it will be for the next several days. We expect the water situation to improve a lot during the night tonight, and then we're having just identify areas where we're having some service disruptions on a case-by-case basis. But our community's been without water since yesterday morning, about 7 o'clock. Longest outage we've ever had on our system. But I think relief is coming pretty soon on that.
And then with regards to the looting that you've observed, we were on Cooley, I believe it was, by the Exxon station, and we just happened to come upon an arrest. They had brought everyone out of a white vehicle, sheriff's officers. Was that a looting situation? Can you talk about why those folks were arrested?
It's still kind of ongoing, but my understanding was it was initially reported as an armed robbery to us. It was not that. It turned out it was just someone stealing merchandise from a convenience store, running out the door with it. These deputies and officers intercepted them, and they're going to be charged. I just don't have all the details yet to be able to do that. Cigarettes, that sort of thing.
A question, you said you dropped the missing list from 45 down to 20 to get the contract.
Right.
What was it like when the phones were down?
So we kind of felt like we'd gone back in time for a while because we were without our cell phones, unless you were connected in Wi-Fi or whatever. So it was a little bit like old school. So folks were just having trouble getting a hold of their loved ones. And then with the 911 system being down and just a lot of the things that we experienced because of the flooding, it just made it harder. And so I think it kept people out of touch, got them more worried. And fortunately, most of those have been accounted for, and I think a lot more will be accounted for as the evening goes on. That we shifted that priority today to let's get the word out on who is actually missing, because we think we could clear a lot of them off the list, and we have done that. So.
That missing list, do you expect that to go up with more people being reported by loved ones, or do you expect it to go down from here and reconnect?
My feeling is that it won't go up anymore, but we may get to the list and still have a few that are unaccounted for in the coming days. We'll just have to see.
Yes, expect more deaths to come forward.
Potentially, but not significantly. There may be a few more, but I don't think we're going to see double the number or anything like that. So.
Is there an update on when cell service will be back?
We have some carriers that have been restored. The carriers have brought in their mobile units to help us here at the command post, so we were able to get service a little bit earlier at the command post. But I think at least Verizon's restored, and maybe AT&T, T-Mobile. I think they're beginning to come back online, and it's just been the Waverly area. Some of the rural areas still have their coverage.
I apologize if you said this already, but is 911 fixed?
Yes, 911 is back online. I think they're 100% online.
And you mentioned kind of an overflow of assets. I know that a lot of times people are coming here to kind of see the devastation. What's your message to folks who want to help or may want to just come, take a look? What do you want people to know?
So in the next few days, we'll have some information out about if you want to come and assist, how to go about doing that. So we'll get that out on our social media and out in releases to you all. But we'll have numbers and locations that you can come to and say, hey, I want to help with the cleanup, I want to provide meals, those kind of things, and that'll be available soon. We've had an abundance, we really have, of folks turning out. And honestly, in the early hours of this, had it not been for people coming out and making rescues on their own, our loss of life probably would have been much higher. So it's been a great help, just the way folks have come together to help rescue folks, because it was very overwhelming in the first hours.
What message do you have for the community tonight to those who've lost loved ones, those who are still missing loved ones? I know you guys have been going through this for the past 24 hours. I'm sure it's been an emotional drain on you guys as well.
Yeah, pray for them. Pray for the families, everybody involved.
What's your biggest need? What do you think? I mean, and can you put a dollar amount on, you think, damage yet, or just guesstimate?
I wouldn't even want to begin to millions of dollars, I guess would be an accurate way. We've got damage to infrastructure, to residences, to schools, to a lot of facilities here in town. It's going to be significant.
So what is y'all's biggest need right now? Do you think something you guys need? And did the governor say that he's going to help?
Yes, I think just assistance from federal resources, because that's going to open up assistance to our residents here, more importantly than anything, but assistance from the federal government to open this up as a disaster would be tremendous.
What does that mean if it's a disaster? What will that allow you guys to do?
It would just allow, and that might be more for you, but it would allow us to recoup some expenses that were lost, and both by, not just by government, but by individuals here in the community.
If you don't mind touching on a need, you said one of the things that we need right now, patience. We're in this for the long haul. We're looking 2 weeks to 30 days. And when I say the patience, we've got to, we're formulating the plans and executing it and staying on track, and we don't need to get overwhelmed with that. And that's like when I said something earlier about just asking you guys to push out some information. If you're sightseeing, please don't come in Waverly. It's clogging us up. It's jamming us up. We've got people here that's helping. We've got people, the emergency traffic coming and going. I just need patience. We need patience and prayers and like that. And that's to answer that question. And I think that would be probably one of the very best things that we could ask for right now. Sure do.
Sheriff, how would you compare this to the 2010 flooding?
Faster, probably more devastating. I think that we could agree with that. It's more devastating than that one. I think we had 13 inches. Don't excuse my numbers. I don't want to quote the numbers, but I think my understanding is that we got a significant more rain this time in a shorter time period, and that's very significant in this situation. Very significant. Very fast coming up. I mean, that's why, like the chief was saying, it put us on it put Waverly on an island for a little while. We couldn't, it took me 5 hours to get here from McEwen, and that's 10 miles down the road. And it just, like I said, if it hadn't been for the people and coming out and doing what we did, we'd probably been in a lot worse shape.
It's somebody said today this is worse than an explosion.
Well, the devastation has definitely got more victims. I mean, I don't think we have more victims. How many we have exactly in that, Mayor? Do you remember? 18.
We have more victims.
So we have more victims now than what we did in the explosion. I was a child, 10 years old when that happened. The thing about that damage, and Mayor, help me out, please, that was almost in a one small area, whereas this is the length of the city limits almost in the devastation. And
her question was just what's the difference in this and 2010 flood?
yes, sir.
No loss of life. There's no loss of life in 2010, and today we know there's been 22 lives lost. So that was a major difference in those two events.
Loss of life.
Mayor, is this the worst you've ever seen happen to your town? Is this the worst thing you've ever seen happen to your town?
I've been around a long time and been through a lot of events here. And this one really took me back yesterday. It really did. This is bad. This is bad. But a number of people that's affected, a number of lives that's lost, the property that's been lost, residential housing that's in short supply to begin with. We've got some people that's going to be hurting for a long time to come.
Yesterday, Waverly dropped off the map under rain. You couldn't get here for hours. 911 was down. What did you feel like in that moment knowing you couldn't get here to help?
From the outside, trying to get in, I didn't like it at all. You know, when you have law enforcement, EMS, and other people calling, needing you, and not being able to get to them, it's almost like a mom not being able to get to her kid. You know, and it's a very sinking feeling, very sinking feeling, and knowing that you have people that's needing it, that can't get help. When I'm sitting here getting videos today from some of you guys that I have people floating down the creek that nobody can able to get to and nobody can help, it hurts. It hurts.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
If I can give you guys just a few words about the things that we do have in place for people who would like to help. The National Guard Armory is set up starting tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're accepting non-perishable food, water, and cleaning supplies. Cleaning supplies is going to be huge over the next weeks, month, for these residents to try and clean up their homes if they can. Monetary donations, we've also been asked about that. There are 2 places set up. You can, if you're local, you can go to the First Federal Bank, and it's the Humphreys Homeless Coalition. Donations can be made there. Online, if you would like to donate online, it's the Tennessee Emergency Response Funds, and that goes straight to Humphreys County, and it's a page set up just for us. So if you would like to donate monetary, we would love for you to go there.
So the National Guard Armory, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.?
Yes, 7 a.m., and that's located on Highway 70 in Waverly.
Sorry, to 5 p.m.
Yes. And that's also, it's a receiving and a distribution center. I should have mentioned that. If you want to bring the items, if you're in need, if you need assistance, if you've been displaced, you can come get those items. We only ask that you bring your identification with you. Obviously, if you have it, if it's been lost in the flood, that's no problem. But 7 to 5, you can come either give items or take items that you need to move forward. Thank you guys for waiting with us. Thank you for being out here all afternoon to help get this word out. Appreciate it.
Very good points. Nothing I never thought about losing everything, your ID, your phone, everything.
And that's just a tracking so that we can keep up with what's needed most, you know, where these items are going, try to keep up with what we need so that we can, because people are asking, what do you need? Right now we don't have, and you know, we don't know. We've had so much already donated and we're having to go through that and see what that is. We don't need more clothes. I can tell you that. We don't need more clothes. But yes, if they do have identification and supply, that way we can just track it and kind of see where the hardest hit areas are. I got it? All right, thank you. Thank you.